guy, Centennial's middle linebacker, Zach Brumbaugh. He's just your typical blue-collar, sideline to sideline player that was a lot of fun to watch, but certainly not rated on the level of those two guys we just mentioned. I'm trying to think, maybe somebody in the secondary.
Curtis Robinson.
Oh, yeah, Curtis Robinson's another one.
Yeah.
He just earned his 5th star. That outside linebacker position's kind of tough because teams can run away from you, and there can be times where you don't have much of an impact in high school. That's tough, but he's certainly, rating-wise, certainly up there. When I saw him against Bishop Amat in the first game of the season, he didn't have much of an impact, but against Centennial in the playoffs, he had a really nice game, forcing a fumble. He had a sack or two and was all over the field making tackles. So certainly Curtis Robinson could be on that list, and I would imagine he'll be an all-state worthy player.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's going to Stanford. He's going to fit right in. He's going to be a tackling machine. They all are. They do a really good job. Blake Martinez right now is an All-American type of guy. They've had tons of Trent Murphy, whoever. They step in, Shane Scove, all foreign players. Notice the wide receivers on this list, though. First of all, there's about 31 to 40 wide receivers in the top 150. Very wide receiver heavy this year, or at least athletes that could possibly play wide receiver, like a Demetrius Robinson or something like that from Savannah, Georgia. But, I know there's a lot of California love, though, all the receivers. Most of the receivers are from California, to be honest.
Yeah.
Also, Tyler Vaughn, of course, Jack Jones, who I think should play receiver. I know he's listed as an athlete, but I think he's going to be a receiver, kick returner. Theo Howard, like I mentioned before, his teammate, Michael Pittman. A lot of wide receivers. Do you have a number? Javon McKinley's number 1, I know, of course, who's still kind of underrated on this list. He's 59, which I know you probably don't agree with.
Yeah,
but,
I've tweeted in all those recruiting publications and told them they're crazy. Javon's way too low on their list, but who am I? Nobody.
No, you're definitely somebody, man. Yeah, I know it's hard. It's weird to have a kid still. I think that he dropped a little too far. I know his season wasn't great, but I don't think that he's the 84th best player in high school football. I think he's a little better than that. But we'll see. I mean, people move up. But it's wide receiver besides Javon McKinley. Do you have Tyler Vaughn?
No, the games that I've seen Tyler Vaughn's play in person, he didn't impress as much as some others. But I think Michael Pittman might be the next guy for me behind Javon. But Jackie Jones and Theo Howard, a couple other guys that I'm missing, they're right there behind Javon. The St. Brown brothers at Mater Dei, although they're underclassmen, they're very impressive. But I feel like there's one more monster out there that I'm missing. It'll come to me, and I'll give him his due.
Dylan Crawford's a pretty solid receiver. Not really a monster, I guess, but he is solid. I'm interested in him either. I still want to know where he's going to go to school. I think he probably picked UCLA. But, yeah, I know he's a really good receiver out of the state of California as well. I mean, there's a bunch, Trevon Sidney, too, and so many. But, yeah, man, I mean, before I let you go, I do want to ask you, your college football champion, who do you think is going to win that? I know this is, I usually let you do the high school thing, but, I'm trying to get everyone's prediction on a national title. Who do you think will win?
Dang. Tough, man. I haven't put a whole lot of thought into it. I feel like Clemson and Oklahoma, they both tend to have slip-up games at this stage of the season. So they're both tough. I love Deshaun Watson and Clemson's offense, but Oklahoma is playing really good football on both sides of the ball. I'll lean to Clemson, and I think Alabama and Michigan State's going to be very low scoring, 17-13 type game. But I'll lean Alabama Clemson and Alabama. I'm going to say Dabo Swinney gets over the hump, and they're going to win it. So mark me down. I'll take Clemson.
Clemson with a victory. You know, I love Clemson. I had Clemson in the national championship versus LSU. That didn't work out too well. But, you know, Clemson is, I love Deshaun Watson. They're a really solid team. They're freakishly athletic. Jerron Curse and all those guys are really good, even up front with Ben Boulware or whoever. Mitch Hyatt, I mentioned he's the best offensive lineman in the country. I stick by that. I know there's some other good ones, but he's been amazing. He started all 13. I think he missed one game, 12 out of 13, but I don't know how he didn't get voted newcomer of the year in the ACC. He only got 3 votes, but I think Clemson's going to I don't want to pick against Oklahoma. I really don't. Or Clemson. I was hoping these two teams could play each other in the championship. But I'm going to have to go with Clemson. There's something about them. They have some kind of magical run in them right now, I think. So I'm going to go with Clemson over there. And I think Alabama beats Michigan State. I think all these games are going to be close. I think Alabama probably end up winning the national title, though. I think they're going to win over Clemson. I think they're just too good. Yeah, their front seven.
Challenged.
They
Sorry,
are
I was cutting you off.
a little. No, you're fine. They are obviously. They just run with Henry. They don't really have a second option. I mean, Coker, when he does get the ball out, has really good receivers. Calvin Ridley is a grown man, literally, because he's 20. But you know, he's definitely the best freshman wide receiver in the country. To me, he's really good, and Foster and those guys. But I mean, they're challenged definitely. I just think their front seven will do a good enough job holding down the fort, pretty much. But we'll see. Yeah, I thank you for answering that question because, like I said, it's all 4 of these teams can win. I mean, Michigan State is the underdog of the whole thing, but they could win. You know, Ohio State. You know, not a lot of people picked them last year either to win, but they ended up winning it. So we don't know.
It'll be fun, though. Great matchups. That Ohio State-Notre Dame matchup is like a consolation championship game. 2 great teams, so really great 3 games there.
Yeah, all those games are great. Even the Oregon TCU, that's not even as big a game as those, but that's going to be just, you know, if you like points and spread offenses, you know, definitely watch that one. Oklahoma State Ole Miss is out there too. A lot of recruiting. It'll be dead period by the time, pretty much. But, I mean, you know, a lot of guys will be at the bowl games. A lot of guys will be watching the bowl games with their parents or whatever from home. And it's going to kind of sway some kids on bowl games. There's still some firings that are going to happen after these bowl games. So we'll just wait and see where everyone commits. You know, this is kind of the time of year that actually just it matters the most to me because during the season, summer, I don't believe they'll commit sometimes, man. I know that they're verbal. You know, people get really excited and then they get pissed off when people decommit, but you just got to be reasonable about it, you know. It's just madness time though of the year for any recruiting guy. But, yeah, man, Ryan, tell the people where they can find and follow your work. I thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. My last name, Swartz, SWARTZ 27, Swartz27. Check out my work at nationalhighschoolfootball.com, covering the top 5 games in the West region each week. Donovan, always great talking to you, my man. Have a great rest of your show, and can't wait to catch up next week.
Yeah, no problem, man. And will you be at the state title games for California?
Yep. Yeah, I'll be traveling Thursday and get there. There's going to be 2 games Friday at 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock, and then there's going to be 3 games Saturday at noon, 4, and the big one, Centennial and De La Salle, will be at 8 o'clock Saturday. I'll be at all the games. I'll get a feel for who else is there, tweeting out updates, and if it seems like it's dead, then I'll be that guy sending out score updates and stuff like that. So look forward to it.
Perfect. Sounds great to me, and we'll definitely be keeping up with you here. Have a great night, man. Again, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Donovan. My pleasure.
Yeah, no problem. That was Ryan Swartz. Great time to have him on the show every week. Like I always say, does a really good job. West Coast regional recruiting, always has the biggest games a week in high school, either Friday or Saturday. But there's a lot of moving, shaking and baking, I guess, in everybody's top 50, top 100, 150, whatever the case may be, their rankings. Mine will be out, like I said, after the bowl game's over, so probably mid-January. I think I'm going to get to my rankings, my personal rankings. So I can't wait to get into it. I've kind of already watched the top 50. I kind of have a consensus on those guys, but as far as anything after that, I don't have it yet, but I will. I promise you that. Tonight's show is coming to an end, guys. We have a couple questions. Question number one was, will Michigan be a top 10 preseason team next year if they win their first bowl game? Yes, they will. Defense is going to be loaded with talent. They're going to have Jabril Peppers, who's one of the best defensive players in the country, kind of the northern version of Stuart Cravens, I guess you could say. They're going to have a balanced offense, some speedy receivers. They got Jake Butt back today. And at quarterback, I think they'll be okay. If Rudolph can do what he did this year, why not Willie, not John O'Corn, who I think will probably start next year. Why not him? I think they'll be okay. Do I see Virginia winning a national title, or an ACC title in year one? No, I don't think Bronco Mendenhall will get it done right away. It's too much of an overhaul with the coaching staff and talent and the culture change that he's going to have to go through. So I don't think they'll win ACC title this year. It's going to take a while. Clemson's going to be the clear-cut favorite. If they win the championship, they're going to pretty much be like Ohio State was this year, the consensus favorite in the preseason. North Carolina is going to be really good next year. Miami is going to be better than Virginia next year. Florida State is there. Virginia Tech is going to be hard to beat. So, it's going to be a battle, for the ACC. All those coaches are really good down there now. Outside of maybe a couple schools that don't have elite coaches, say 11 of the schools, and then they get to play Notre Dame every year. Most of those schools. So, it's going to be fun to watch Virginia and see if Bronco Mendenhall can succeed there. I don't like that match as much. It makes sense, perfect hire, but I don't think Bronco should have left BYU. I thought he had something good going on there with the scheduling, how it was and everything. But hey, Power 5 now, so it's time to move up to the big boys. But that's all we have as far as the questions for tonight. The next segment, we'll be moving on to is the 2002 recruiting class. 2002 recruiting class, pretty solid. I'd say Vince Young was a leader. Alohi Nata was a Booker, Ben Olsen, and Reggie McNeil. Ryan Moore was in this class, Chris Davis, Marcus Beck, Leon Washington, Kai Parham as well. Vince Young, kind of a question of what could have been for him. Alohi Nata, same thing. Not same thing. Can he be a Hall of Fame player? Possibly. I don't really know why Baltimore got rid of him because he's still a really dominant player. Now he's playing really good in Detroit. But, if he's healthy, he could be maybe Hall of Great player. I don't know if he'll make the Hall of Fame. It's hard to make the Hall of Fame at that position, to be honest. So Lorenzo Booker, though, is kind of what could have been the college version. Vince Young is what could have been in the NFL. Lorenzo Booker is at Florida State. He didn't live to the hype. St. Bonnie's kind of has a thing, a curse, where all their top players end up being bust. I don't know why that is. But Lorenzo Booker was, at the time, number one leading rusher in the state of California. And, he ended up not playing good at Florida State. So, Reggie McNeil was an athlete from Austin, Texas, Texas A&M. Quarterback, ended up playing quarterback along with Ben Olsen, Thousand Notes quarterback. They both had similar careers. They both weren't that great. Reggie McNeil was a guy that kind of just Cynical Wallace type of quarterback. He had some issues with his height. I don't believe he was ever 6'2", 210. He's probably more like 6 foot. He kind of started